welcome to Dear Katie, the podcast that amplifies courageous voices and real stories of resilience, healing, and hope after trauma. Inspired by the many letters Katie has received over the last 20 years, each week she interviews survivors, healers, and experts to honor their stories and explore the many paths to healing and hope. Before we begin, please know, many episodes of Dear Katie cover sensitive topics related to sexual violence, trauma, and recovery. Listen with care and take the space you need to take care of yourself. Your well-being is what matters most. Now, let's join Katie and today's guest for a conversation that matters.
Hi, everybody. It is Katie Koestner and the Dear Katie podcast. I am delighted to continue on this journey with each and every one of you. I always start out with that self-care, and I've just been thinking about self-care, and it really, to me, the whole podcast is self-care. But if, I was thinking in a different way, like some of the things that I have done in my life that were really scary and hard, it was those moments I really sat through it and kept breathing and calming myself down instead of pushing pause. So I'm always like, if you can power through all that and take that chance on yourself. I encourage you to try that on for size and see how it feels as well. But nonetheless, always you come first, always. And if you're supporting someone, just know that, you never know what might come up for someone at any given moment. And it can be a smell, it can be just something they hear in the background, or, close proximity to something that really just brings back everything in a second. But nonetheless, we are going to have such a delightful time speaking with Ashley and Lauren. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest and then let her tell you a lot more. So welcome to the show, Ashley. Ashley Lauren Elrod is a survivor, a board-certified trauma-informed professional, advocacy and policy consultant, and child abuse prevention leader committed to helping others transform adversity into purpose. That sounds great. She is the founder of the award-winning Visionary Woman Productions and the Maya's Magic Word Project. It's an innovative child safety and prevention educational framework. Ashley also serves in leadership and advisory roles, supporting survivor empowerment and child advocacy initiatives. Through storytelling, education, and public speaking, she helps individuals reclaim their voices and create lasting impact. Today, she is joining us to share her own journey and insights on healing and the power of turning pain into purpose. Welcome, Ashley Lauren. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much, Katie, for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn.
Be here.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn all about your work. But where did you grow up? Like, where were you born? And what was that first stage of Ashley Lauren like?
Yeah, so I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I'm actually on the outskirts of Chicago, but we'll just say Chicago because that is my city. That's where my family are born and raised for the most part outside of Mississippi. And, growing up was... I always tell people it was, I had a complex childhood growing up, to be honest. It was a beautiful, pretty picture for most, probably looking from the outside in. But, on the inside, there was a lot going on. I have two great parents who did the best that they could, right? Like all of ours did, with the language that they had, the tools that they had at the time, to talk about consent and bodily autonomy and those things. Those conversations were far and few between for many of us that, for generations past. So
Ashley Lauren, wait, let's go back to when you were talking about Mississippi. You said you had a lot of family there. Were your parents from Mississippi or?
Yes, but both sides of my family originally are from Mississippi.
Okay, gotcha. And then they moved up to Chicago, South Side, North Side, East Side, West Side.
And they migrated to Chicago, to the south side of Chicago, and my dad's family primarily was on the west side and south side of Chicago, but primarily in the Cabrini Green area, which everybody knows about, where my dad actually did grow up, in the McCullough homes is what they called projects that were in the midst of Cabrini Green.
Okay, and then how many siblings did you have?
I have 4 siblings. My dad's one of 13, and my mom is one of 4.
One of 4.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Big families. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So there's 5 kids, and where are you in that order of?
I'm the youngest,
You're
the baby.
You're the baby. Oh, okay. Okay. And then just also for context, so you were growing up like in the 90s and early 2000s?
Yes. I was born in 89. Yes.
Okay. So because we were talking about, like, you mentioned, like, parents didn't have that much, like, conversation starters and around sex and consent and like boundaries. And
Mhm.
I hope they're doing better this year. Well, I'm sure, like, we are doing better, but
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, but I think you're right. Like, I'm not sure when that switch happened. It was like they,
Mhm.
I think some parents, and it's certainly not all parents, still feel comfortable with those conversations. But
Yeah, definitely some, but I mean, this is my work, my life's work
Mhm.
is to teach this to children
Right,
and to parents and educators. That's why I created my book, Maya's Magic Word, because it's still definitely not talked about enough at all. And honestly, probably 90% of parents that I speak to still are kind of like, I don't know how to
right.
really conversations with my child. It's scary and this and that, and that's why I created this program and why we are working on it so heavily right now, because we want to be able to bridge that gap finally in our society where this is no longer a taboo or scary thing for adults to talk about with children, because it's necessary, and it's a necessary tool for prevention of abuse. So we have to be having these conversations, which is why I am taking the
Absolutely. So
yeah.
we'll come back to that, but go back to, you started saying, like, it was a rough go, right? Your experience started at a young age. So if you're comfortable, what can you share about what was going on for you as a child?
Yeah. So, like I said, I had 2 great parents that were working really hard. We had dream houses and we lived in the great neighborhoods, but, abuse can touch anyone at any time in any community, as we all know.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, my abuse, several things started actually around 6 and 7 years old for me. I was getting abused by my cousin, unfortunately, for several years. And along with that abuse from my family member, I was also being groomed by my riding trainer at the time as well. I was also being assaulted by 2 friends, family friends, at the same time. So that was all happening.
Oh my
At,
gosh. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
All
So
in that same 6 to 7 year olds period, like all of that was
we started
happening.
at 6 years old, making its way to about 10, 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let me just think about what you said, because I was so we have a cousin, the riding trainer. Was that like horse riding? Horseback
Yes.
riding. So you started taking lessons,
Hmm.
and it was the trainer, and then it was,
My husband, yes.
and the cousin was how much older was the cousin?
He was about, oh gosh, probably 6 or so years older than me.
Like
Yeah.
12, 14,
No,
you
probably
think?
he probably was about 14 or 15 years
Mhm.
old. Yeah, when it
And
started, yes.
and then because I'm just trying to get a picture. So we had the 14 or 15-year-old male cousin.
Hmm.
The trainer is you said a man?
So the trainer was her husband also was my trainer, but she was primarily my trainer, but it was her husband,
Okay.
and that started around the same age, and but they were also family friends too of my family.
The trainer was.
Yes.
And then there was another family friend too, or different?
So yeah, two other family friends who were technically my friends, but they were 2 girls that were also
Oh
my
my
abusers.
gosh. So I'm sorry I asked all that question, but I'm just trying to think of being 6 or 7. And for our listeners, like, some of you probably can relate exactly to Ashley Lauren's situation, that your abuse was happening then. But when you're 6 or 7, that's like what is that? Fifth, fourth grade? I
Yes,
forget, like
about
around 4th grade, 3rd grade?
I think third grade, but
3rd
yes.
grade. I'm just trying to give everyone context, like how young we were, right? And sometimes it's
Yeah.
helpful for me to think about like what a normal third grader would be doing, right? Like learning how to
Right.
write and do like basic math, and then you have all this going on with these other adults or teenagers around you. Um,
Yeah.
right? And you're the youngest too, so you have other siblings probably in the same age group as that cousin, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, that's I just was trying to I was trying to think like what if I how might this be, and then how you processed all of it going forwards. But so maybe I'll think about that while we're talking. But so we have this going on for you said like 5 years, 6 years?
Yes. So the friends and the cousin incidents lasted until about 11 years old.
Hmm.
And then I still was training with my trainer until about 17 years old.
Oh, wow, that's much longer. And he
Yeah.
continued doing it all the way through high school then. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. You don't have to be too graphic, but especially when you got older, was it like, I guess I'm curious about that one that went on the longest. Um, and you said he groomed you. Like, how do you remember some of the things? Because obviously you have a book and you're doing all this work, but for anyone listening, we might have, educators listening to you talk today. So, what were things now that you look back and you're like, this was what you need to pay attention to, and this is and this and this because this is what happened to me. I mean, the
Absolutely.
family, friends, the cousin. I feel like they're a different situation than the one for the like. It's all bad, but I was
Yeah.
curious, especially about the trainer situation. If you could think about like what are some red flags now that you experienced that should have been seen by someone else.
Yeah, so definitely the special treatment, like going above and beyond to
Wow.
single them out, is a huge part of grooming. Gifting someone as well with something extravagant. So literally, I was given a horse. Um,
What? Oh
yeah,
my gosh. And nobody thought anything of that?
no, not really, because he didn't make it seem like he was giving. It's like he definitely said, I want you. You can have my horse, essentially, but it wasn't made to be obvious. Like I'm just giving you my horse, for
Right.
free.
Right.
Um, he was a very charismatic person and someone that, for a long time we all trusted, even though it's a big situation with him and his wife, honestly, when they got divorced because he was cheating on her.
Mm.
So that blew up everything.
Wait,
But
when you
at
say
the
Ashley, when you said cheating, did she find out about you or did she find out about other women?
well, I wasn't cheating with him
No, no,
because
no, no, no.
I was,
Cheating on you, like
yeah,
cheating on her with you by abusing you, is what I should have said.
right.
Like, what was
Yeah.
that? Like, was he also doing bad things to other people or?
He, he was seeing her best friend behind.
Oh my God,
Yes.
what a train wreck. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So we
So,
have the gifting, the special treatment,
mhm.
then,
Yes, gifting, special treatment, and
mhm.
then just like making certain comments and things too as I got older,
Oh,
about my body or about like how beautiful I am, and just continuously like giving all of these compliments, trying to grab a touch here and there, like when my dad wasn't looking, things like that. Started happening more frequently.
oh, wow. And did it ever escalate? I mean, all of it's bad, but I'm always wondering, like some of our guests have experienced like full-blown rape by their adult abuser. Did yours ever get to that level or?
With him specifically, it didn't. With others, yes.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. Ashley Lauren. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
I
Like I said, my
know.
story is really complex.
Well,
But yeah.
I think it's good to think. Well, I guess maybe you mentioned that the wife divorced him, but it sounds like not because of what he was doing to you, but because of cheating.
Right. I'm not sure if she ever suspected that he was grooming me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big thing that people have come out with a lot in the past, honestly, only 5 or so years in the equestrian world. It's something that's actually pretty common, unfortunately, by male coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's been a couple documentaries now that people have come out with about their stories, but it definitely now is becoming something where people are being able to feel comfortable enough to actually come out about the abuse and the grooming that's been happening to women and girls in the equestrian world.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, every single sport that has young women in it, young girls, is probably fraught with peril. Like I'm dare say, right? Like it's got to be every single sport with
Yeah.
any. I know. And I wonder if we'll ever hear. I mean, I'm just musing on this. It's not about you, but I'm just wondering about like enablers, right? Like Epstein's. Like there's the girlfriend. But there's all,
Yeah.
so I'm, I feel like we could just talk about that for a long time, but I want to get to all of the great work you're doing. I know. I'm now thinking I need to make sure we have an episode on every single female sport. And maybe when I find another equestrian, I'll have to have you come back on and talk about that, because I feel like that would be so important. And for our listeners, my gosh, you should go through my list of all my gymnasts, my you miss like the trainer at for our football and wrestlers. Like it's a whole long line of predators within, like, carefully housed within sports. I guess let me just ask you, so now this abuse is going on till 17. Some of it has died off, thank God, but it must be shaping you as you grow into a teenage and then young adult. So when you think about, and you have sisters, I didn't ask you if you had brothers or sisters. Do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay, so I guess I just wanted to hear how you navigated that. Like, did you have many friends? Did you have boyfriends? Like, how did you either protect yourself or navigate what was going on with you? So you were, what hobbies, interests, like relationships did you have through age 18, I guess? I'm curious. Like, if you look back on that younger self now, like, what do you see that was your coping strategy, or figuring out strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely lived pretty much my entire youth in freeze, flight, and fawn mode for sure. I was seen as a very happy child, though at the same time, like I was very creative. I was in a bunch of activities. I was a leader in a lot of organizations growing up. So I think how I dealt with things was just being overly active in my life, overly proactive, just wanting to be the best, wanting to make sure I got good grades. Like I really put my all into being able to do things and do them extremely well, which serves me in my adulthood now because I can do many well, and I've been successful in a lot of different areas when it comes to careers. So that was very helpful, but also at the same time, it was really just having to kind of black out a lot that had happened, because really, honestly, with all of that happening, that's really what you psychologically do at that age. I mean, I was so young when all of this started hitting me, which basically is like a bunch of bombs going off in your brain,
Right.
when you don't even have a frontal lobe yet. So
let's talk about the word you said was fawn. You said freeze, I think flight and fawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or fight. Did you use flight or fight?
Well, there's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
I know. I missed what the middle one said. Did you say flight or fight?
So flight.
Flee.
So flight.
Flee.
Yeah. So there's
Flee.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Ashley Lauren, the fawn one, I think a lot of people don't know that one as well. I think it means like you're a people pleaser to the extreme. Like, keep just get through it, make everybody happy, that like, don't mess with anything, just tell everything. Everyone's great. You're the great negotiator of like success, basically, by navigating other people's personalities. Does that describe it like you envision it?
Yes, it definitely can. And also it also means basically like fawning is like playing dead, keeling over.
Mm,
So that's the definition primarily of what it means, of just like keeping the peace at the expense of yourself, which
mhm.
is what I did half of my life. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. But I agree with you. You clearly are super successful. So you're unfortunately the navigation, while it was necessary, or fortunately, it made you really strong and successful in a lot of ways.
Well, the healing made me strong and
That's what I have to
successful.
say. Right.
Yeah, I know people like to say that trauma can make one, powerful or strong, but it doesn't.
Hmm.
I think that's something that, we should be cognizant of saying actually, because it's really the healing and you taking accountability, unfortunately, having to take accountability for what someone else subjected you to.
Hmm. Right. That's better said. Hmm. Um, and as you were going through those like teenage years, were there any? I feel like you said you kind of kept it in the like blackout, I think is the term you use, like just put it out here and kept pushing forward. Did you continue with horseback riding after you were 17? Like,
Yes, I did. I continued with horseback riding, and also at 17, the abuse with about my cousin came to light to my family. So
oh,
during senior year, I was actually like working with two other family members who also came forward about the same abuser, to go to the police. We had to go through the court system. So that happened right before I graduated. So there was a lot going on too at that time before I like moved on to
that's
college.
so much. Like your senior year of high school, you're going through a court system.
Yeah.
And what out of that period, what was a really hard thing that you could talk about? And then also something you're so grateful for that helped you get through it, if you can think about that.
I mean, I guess the hardest thing was just the entire situation, coming to light all those years later.
Hmm.
Um, and having to kind of really cope with everything that I had set back in the back of my psyche to try to forget and try to, almost act like it as if it didn't happen. And so, of course, the feelings and everything came over, and it was a very overwhelming time psychologically, especially during, I was right at the pinnacle of just like, yeah, graduation and prom
Right.
there coming up right before May. So there all of a sudden was this to deal with and to face. And that was probably, one of the hardest things ever I could have done. Yeah, as a
Mhm.
young woman,
Yeah. Did it
as a
go to
kid.
did it go to trial, or did he just oh,
Yeah.
wow. Did you have to testify and everything?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Ashley Lauren, that's
Yeah.
a crazy thing to do at age 17.
Yeah.
And what was the outcome of that whole?
Yes, he ended up getting time in prison, over 8 years. So he did get time, and yeah, we ended up getting some type of justice, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it after that happens, because once again, you're kind of still left with the repercussions of all of what was done to you for so long. And then, at that time, I wasn't even able to fully start healing or anything, because
Mm,
there was prom, there was graduation, and then it was so quick for me to go to college. And my parents, weren't big on therapy at the time. Like, that wasn't really something that they really believed in fully. It was more as I come from a heavy Christian background with my folks. So even though my dad had a mental health background, it's interesting how he was someone who was like, yeah, but you don't need to go to therapy.
that's
Um,
strange. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's interesting because once again, I think it's one of the things that a lot of people of the older generation grapple with is they still equate therapy as to be something being wrong with you. Like there's
Mhm.
like it's the therapy now to us as millennials is, hey, we're going so we can talk stuff out. We can make sure that we're good. It's not like, oh, we're going because we're crazy. It's like a lot of Gen X. I really, especially in my family specifically, always felt like if you're going to therapy, something's wrong with you.
Right.
That's a lot of thought process for a lot of people in this country still. Like
I
mental health,
agree.
yeah, we've come a long way, but also I have so many conversations daily where I'm realizing we haven't,
Yeah.
because so much ignorance still surrounding what mental health is, which is health. It's overall health, like mind, body, and soul is a daily function. And if one
Mhm.
thing is off, everything is off. It's not like, oh, something's wrong with you. You have this or that. It's like, no, people go to therapy to just be able to be okay, to talk things out, to bounce things off of someone, confidentially sometimes, and for their health, for their wellness.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still don't get that,
And I think,
unfortunately.
do you also, I couldn't agree more. And I think there's pockets, and I'm really hopeful though, because a lot of our volunteers that Take Back the Night are between age 16 and 26. Ashley Lauren, they're awesome. We have 75 of them right now. Yeah, we have like 100% volunteers here, and yeah, it's so cool. And all of them, I think they'll be like, I need a mental health break, but obviously they're a unique cohort because they're here, like with our cause. But I also wonder. I feel like we have such a diverse group of volunteers from even Africa, South America, like everywhere in the world, with different cultural and religious and ethnic, diversity. And just to talk about that, because I know you do a lot of consulting, and you probably work with therapists and organizations. Do you find that it's even more of a challenge within certain, not just age groups, but certain, you mentioned Christian background. Like sometimes I feel like maybe within certain like faith groups, it's like, why don't just talk to the minister? Like God will solve everything. God will solve
Yes.
everything. Or even I think we have folks from different ethnicities and racial groups too. And I think there's still groups even within, like even younger people within those groups who are like, nope, that's not what we do here. um,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and the other argument is it's a luxury. Like I can't afford it, or I don't have time for that. I have to work. There's a lot of barriers to healing, which is why,
Yes.
yeah. So anything you want to share with our listeners who might be having a hard time persuading their parents or their friends, like this is something that's important to me, because you said it
Yeah.
so well. Like you made the argument so perfectly while you're like, this mind body, like it's everything. Like maybe just any other lines like that you have, because those are
Yes,
so good.
yeah, honestly, just really stating that it's a full balance of self.
Hmm.
Mental health doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you need to go to an asylum, or it's like you're beyond help or something. Like people used to grow up thinking back in the day because of honestly propaganda. But it really is just about overall health. Like it's about taking care of your mind. The biggest thing that is helping us go throughout the day is our brains,
Mm.
our memories, our psyche. That's the biggest thing outside of our heart, that is helping us to get throughout the day. So
Yep.
if that is not good, if we're not well within that, then the rest of us we're going to feel off. We are going to feel depressed. We are going to feel sluggish, or not feeling like we want to get things done that are important to get done in our lives. It really is just a full body attunement, and it's just
I love it.
yeah.
I love how
It's
you say that.
thank you.
I know. I'm like, we need to package that right there and just put it out there to the world. I just think yeah. Well, we can't solve everything in 1 hour, but um, okay. So I want to get you off to college. So because we were just stuck like in that summer of mayhem. like you're sending your cousin off to jail, thank goodness. But it sounds like he only got 8 years, which is pathetic. And did he get out early? And
No, he got out in 8 years,
okay,
but yeah, I haven't heard from him, thank God, since he's
yeah.
been, I haven't really had the
Nope.
will.
Let's not go there. We don't need to talk about him. No power to
Yeah.
him. But so what did you decide to study in college?
So I went to college at first for fashion design because that was something
Nice.
that actually really got me through. Actually, I designed clothes growing up. So like my mom put me in sewing classes, so I absolutely loved it. I have my sketchbook still, and I still want to put out a line one day. But yeah,
Okay.
I originally started for fashion design, and then I actually ended up switching to technical theater, which was pretty much everything that I wanted to do in one. So that was set design, that was costuming, that was makeup, that was production, coordination, and just pretty much learning the entire business and scope of the business of film and television and theater. So I wanted to be able to be well versed in all of those things. So I ended up
Perfect.
majoring in that and minoring in acting at
Ah,
Columbia College in
uh,
Chicago. Yeah.
where is in Chicago, Columbia College?
Columbia College, yeah, Chicago.
Awesome. Okay. And is it right down? Is that downtown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right there in the loop. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chicago sometimes gets missed in the middle of New York and LA. I feel
Yeah.
like people forget Chicago's got a lot to offer.
Oh
Um,
gosh, yes,
for
definitely.
sure. Other than the Obamas.
Yeah.
But okay, so you finished there. How did that? Was it how long was that? Like 4 or 5 years or 3 years?
So 4 years, 4
Mhm.
years. I ended up graduating in four and just like going
That's
above
a
and beyond.
great. I'm glad you did that, Ashley Lauren, because like it's a lot when you're juggling trauma and trying to do
Yeah.
college.
I mean, there was a lot going on too at that time as well, unfortunately, because, and I was saying this in a different podcast episode, that I didn't have time to process anything before going to college, honestly, because him coming up and all that situation coming up brought up everything too with the friends that also assaulted me growing up and my trainer. And I didn't have time to deal and settle with everything. So I kind of feel like I had to push it all back down again just
Mhm.
to go to college. And unfortunately, that led to like I was drugged my freshman year, and there was an
Oh
attempt to,
no.
yeah, and I was in a workspace at a horse theater actually where I was sexually assaulted. So there was a lot of stuff that also happened in college that I completely froze when it came to those moments because I had so much trauma packed on my brain and in my body that I wasn't able to process. I had no time to process. So college was like once again my youth. I was known as, oh, she has a lot of friends, she's happy, she's doing this, she's so successful. I also started in entertainment when I was 17, which is a whole nother thing.
Another
Um,
podcast.
a whole nother podcast,
Mhm.
literally.
Mhm.
So it's like I was working in entertainment. There was a lot of stuff happening there as well while going to college, while working at school, and all of the things. And I just didn't have time to like deal with my trauma at all. But things kept packing up, like piling up,
Right.
unfortunately.
It
I
sounds.
didn't.
It's a funny concept to say I don't have time to deal with the trauma, but
Yeah.
it's
Honestly, I just like stayed focused on my career and my grades, and then I started my company, Visionary Woman Productions, my
yeah. So
senior year
when did senior year of college?
of
So
college.
tell us about what that is.
Yeah. So, well, it started off as fulfilling a need at my school. So, like I said, I started off as a fashion model actually in the industry at 17, right out of college, or right out of high school,
Mhm.
and I was, doing a lot of gigs. I had my agents. There was a lot of things going on, but I was already in the business. So I was represented. I was, in Vogue magazine and Ebony and a whole bunch of other things as well. I was like pretty successful. And then when I went to college, I got an internship at one of the biggest talent agencies for actors in Chicago at the time.
Wait. I want to take one thing at a time. Go back to the modeling part. I did interview a couple. It's interesting to think about. This is where I'm going with this. Our bodies as survivors, right, have been intimately violated. And then how we think about portraying them in that world, and for me, it was like, I was not a model, although I did try out for Miss America, believe it or not. I was terrible. Like, I did not have enough to stuff into little triangles, but and walk in high heels, but I could play the piano and do the talent. But it's all good. But then I got really, because of my situation, like being on the cover of Time and getting your picture taken in that, not as a model, but as a survivor, like in that identity, right? And you are not yet outed officially as a survivor, not, but you're doing all this work with your body, kind of, right? And I think of it like, how did you come to understand that part of yourself and having your body? I don't know, what kind of pictures I'm sure they were all awesome, but I'm just curious, like how you, maybe go back and think about that facet of yourself, because you love fashion and that's about the body confidence too, right? So I think juxtaposing like the victimization part with what you're doing very positively to feel good in your skin is interesting to me, like how you were thinking about it and maybe how you look back on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a paradox, I think, because at one point it's like I loved modeling. I'm still a signed model now as a curvy woman that I am, which I love. But, back then when I was like 02, I loved modeling. It made me feel in control of my body, very confident. And not to be cocky, I was a very natural model. So everyone...
Just say it. You could say that. Lord, I was awesome.
But I was like, I even have pictures from when I was a child, when I was like doing certain poses, and they were like, oh my God, like, how did you learn that? I'm like, that's how I like to pose. And they were like, wow, so you've always been a natural. That's what people would tell me. So I was natural at it. So just like being connected to my body is something that I never really had trouble doing in that way. And even with my emotions too, like I was a very emotional kid, even though I was going through all of this crap. But like I said, it was kind of like I had to compartmentalize the trauma with trying to be normal of whatever you think that is. So I felt confident when I was in front of the camera. Like it was just kind of like my outlet. But also at the same time, you're being, measured by your agents every Friday. And you're being weighed and you're being told, even though you're a 02, that your hips are too big and like you have too much of a butt and you need to try to get rid of it. So that's also what was happening to me at the same time, whilst like doing, fashion shows and stuff where, you're in the back of, the stage and, people are just ripping your clothes off. So you're and you're naked, no matter who's around, men, women, it's just, and you're once again 17, right? So it's like, there's just so much happening where it's like, okay, I just have to do this. And once again, it's just like that thing where you're fawning and you're just, I can't complain. The job. Right. And you have to go with it. So it was a paradox for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, looking
I
back
think
at
that's really curious. Like, and I mean, I think you've triumphed through all of that, but I wanted to kind of highlight for our listeners too, because like the fact that you were able to do that and compartmentalize and just put everything in its place almost. Like you can be this right now. This is what's going on right now. Then we're doing this, then
yeah.
we're doing, and you were juggling everything so brilliantly in the face of all these things.
Well, I tried. I mean, there were a lot of, I mean, there were, yes, I will say that, but also no at the same time, like once again, I felt like, and I tell this to people a lot, like I was living a double life half of my life of like, yes, I'm happy. I have all my friends. I'm this, I'm that, like I'm successful, but also behind closed doors, it's like, we're at those parties, that you hear about,
Mm-hmm.
I have moments that were blacked out, that I don't remember, because I was drinking or I was drugged as well. So it's like also too that was happening. So it's like I was getting through it okay, but on the outside looking in, I feel like looking back at the Ashley that was actually sitting with herself and having to go through so much abuse even throughout college,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing as best I guess as someone could be doing. With what was happening.
Right. Yep. I got that impression as well. But let's talk about, I want to get through at least two more things before we end. The women productions, what you said that's still going on. It still exists.
Yeah.
So tell us all about what that is.
Yeah, so Visionary Woman production started in college, and it started with me fulfilling a need at Columbia.
Right.
Because Columbia was an incredible art school. And they still are, but they were like the number one private art school back in the day when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredible. Like we got an incredible top education. We had some of the best, award-winning Tony Award, like
Wow.
winners, our professors, but the business side wasn't being taught. And I was
Mm-hmm.
already in the business. Like I was literally, having to skip out on classes to go do auditions or go to set or go to a callback. And my
Mm-hmm.
friends would be like, oh my gosh, like, how are you doing all of this? And, I was on some TV shows too before we graduated. So people were like always coming to me and asking all of these questions like, well, how did you do this? How do you get an agent? How do you make sure you don't get scammed? And so I was like, okay, well, they're not teaching them here, so maybe I can bring that to the table. And also people were wondering what a good headshot looks like and how to do their resume and their cover letter and stuff and how to go to an open call properly. So I got with the agent that I was interning for at the time, who took me under her wing and taught me the business right away, and still is my mentor today. And she was like, well, I'll teach you, how to do our open calls, and I'll have you start running them. That'll be a good way to really get you in here. And then if you want, you can have your friends from school come through, and, if we like them, we'll offer a contract. So that's how Visionary Woman production started. I did a
Brilliant.
package. Yeah, together. I did a headshot package. I got together my friends who are amazing photographers. I had my friend who was a great makeup artist. Like I had all these incredible women around me, and I was just like, well, let's just get together and like do this. So it
That
became a
is
business.
so awesome.
Yeah, like it
I
became
love that.
thank you. It became
Yeah.
a business overnight, which I wasn't expecting at all. I was literally Googling, how do you do a contract and this and that. I had no clue what I was fully doing, but I was like figuring out along the way. Square had just come out at that time. So I ordered a Square to
Just
accept payments,
swipe.
and
Yeah, I remember them. We just stick them into
yeah,
our phones.
right.
That's
And
so
it's just
cool.
So that's how it started off, along with us getting together and just collaborating and having fun, and then submitting our photos and our projects to magazines, which is how I got into Vogue and a multitude of other magazines. So yeah, it just started off as a collaboration of my friends who are super talented, and wanting to fulfill a need for my friends at school too.
That is the perfect business. As long as all your friends get along for a long time. Sometimes money can ruin friends, but hopefully it all worked out. Hopefully
no,
they're good. Okay.
yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
You're very, that's a very happy story. I hope that some of our listeners who feel really stuck are so inspired by your story, Ashley Lauren, like, because you just kept thinking about what needs to be done and you were doing it, which then leads you to the book, the children's book. So let's talk about, yay! Oh, beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Yeah, so let's land on the book, because did it just come out or a little bit ago?
Yeah, so the book is officially out. It was
Okay.
supposed to come out last year, but we had a lot of setbacks and a lot of things going on as I'm dealing with more things of trying to expose abusers, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
That's a whole nother podcast. But
we already have lined up the writing exposition. We'll get the next one going after that. But tell us about how the book came to be. What's it all about?
So I was actually speaking at the UN conference last year for the United
UN
Nations
Women?
Conference.
Yep.
Yeah, women's conference. And I was sitting at the back of the chapel and listening to some other speakers speak for that day after I was done. And the book honestly just came to my mind right then and there. It was like I got this creative spark and I wrote the whole thing out in the pews of the church that we were in. And it came together at that moment, and then I went and revised it, and I looked at it, and I said, "Wow, this is incredible! This is exactly what kids need right now." I always knew I wanted to write a series based on consent and bodily autonomy, and kids feeling empowered to use their voices, but also helping to honestly not retrain parents and how they approach children, but give parents the tools and the resources that most have not had quite yet when it comes to a child abuse prevention that they need to have in this day and age, to be able to have daily conversations with their kids about how to protect themselves and how to use their voices and to empower them to use their voices so they can, report if something happens, or they feel comfortable at least coming to you about these situations. So this book is all based on that. It's going through Maya's adventures of what she's experiencing on her couple days in this book, with her teacher, with her parents, with people that make her not feel great, and showing how she can use her voice, showing how she can say no and not be punished for doing so, showing that she can be listened to by adults. And I just want these conversations to be as easy as reading a storybook.
That's so great. And what age group would you say that's for? Is it your 6 and 7? 6 and 7?
No,
2 to 4. I was like, what's the 6 to 7-year-old book that you needed?
Yes. I mean, this could go all the way to 7, to be honest.
But you said 2 to 4.
I want to start it in preschool specifically because I am on the advisory board at Chicago Children's Advocacy Center, and I sent them the book originally before it came out, and they were like, "This is really great. This would be incredible to bring into the preschools that we have on our list for the schools that we go to throughout the year with our children's theater, because they're all asking for materials for the little ones." So there was a big gap there that I wanted to fulfill, and now, I'm fulfilling it.
No, absolutely, and the book looks beautiful on the outside. I'm sure it's beautiful on the inside too.
Thank you. Oh
yeah, yeah. Do you have any pictures you can hold up?
Yes.
Oh, so pretty. I love the illustrations. Did you come up with some of those ideas as well?
I designed the book fully. Yeah, okay. From top to bottom. Yeah.
This is like the full circle of your whole life. You do costume design for the characters. The set design is the everything, the plot. It's like you just put it all into a kid's book. I love it so much. Like, I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, Ashley Lauren. But
Thank you so
I
much.
know you're still like doing 5,000 things at one time. So that's
Yes.
good. I'm glad to see you being so restless in all the best ways. It is how things get done. Is not sitting still very well, but I'm just so happy. Is there anything else? Like, I know we you said it better than I did about like healing is the real part that makes us thrivers. And I would say we're not just surviving, we're thriving when we heal. So what last word or two would you like to share with our listeners about your healing journey that's been most maybe highlights for you? Anything that comes to mind other than doing all that? I see you as a doer. I have all my notes here, but like I always see you as a doer. And so maybe I don't know if you want to talk about counseling or any other things that really just helped you grow and stay steady through all this.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me that has been huge on my healing journey. So I'm actually an intuitive. That I've been an intuitive that's been able to dream and see through things with people since I was a child. It's a gift that runs in my family, and I actually have used that greatly on my healing journey. It's been huge for not only myself but also the people that I've mentored. I've mentored many survivors now who have been able to achieve things that they didn't think were possible. Because of working with me on deconstructing, being able to really get to the core root of ourselves again before trauma started, and really finding ourselves in the now and not trying to reach back for something that honestly we didn't really have the full chance to become when we were kids. So it's a big part of deconstructing inner child work and also even dream work too, which is a whole, that once again, that can be a whole other podcast.
Right.
But dream work, healing trauma in dreams is actually possible as well. It's almost kind of like restorative justice for people who have not been able to face their abusers or may not have the chance to do so because they may have passed on or they just don't feel comfortable to do so. So that's something that has helped me greatly on my healing journey in ways that honestly talk therapy could never do for me personally, even though I've had a great therapist who really helped me through a lot of what I've gone through. But those are some things. I think staying open to modalities that can work for you, whether it's nature, whether it's horseback riding, which I still do, and I've reclaimed in my life, whether it is even the equine assisted therapy, which is including horses, swimming, whatever. There's no one-stop shop for healing, especially from something so traumatic as sexual assault or domestic violence. I've experienced both. And it definitely takes time with yourself, grace for yourself, and also understanding too that it is possible. I think that's a big thing too, and that's even a lie I used to believe for a while, is that I think I'm going to be healing from this for the rest of my life. Oh, there's no way I can, really get all of it out, before I die. I used to think that. And now I have been able to get on the other side of so much thick trauma. I've been able to heal from PTSD naturally, holistically. I've been able to heal myself from Crohn's disease holistically. So it's just, it takes time. It takes also understanding that it's possible, that you deserve more than just living in trauma. And when you understand that you do deserve more and that you can attain it, things change on the healing journey as well.
So beautifully said. Thank you so much, Ashley Lauren. That was amazing. It was such a great conversation with you. And I do feel like we could go into detail on lots of other things that we talked about. But we can, follow up and we'll see hey, listeners, like if you want to hear more from Ashley Lauren, like just put a note to me. But I just so appreciate all that you've done and continue to do. And I love how you are so creative too. And the book sounds fascinating. So I hope lots of parents out there decide to get a copy and share it with their children or grandchildren. Oh my gosh. This is right.
donate
Any
a book to
child.
the
This is good for everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. And until our paths cross again, I know you will take excellent good care of yourself. And for all of our listeners, I hope you do the same. And Ashley just rattled off like 12 things right there at the end. So if you need to like rewind and write them all down in your journal, I would totally do that, because she said a million perfect things of reminders to self of you can do this. It's totally possible. And I love the word modalities. There's lots of modalities, as she said. So take advantage of this positivity right here, right now. And we will see you again in another week. Until then, we are thriving and surviving. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Dear Katie. These conversations are never easy, but they're always necessary, and we're so grateful you chose to share this space with us. If something in today's episode stirred something within you, please give yourself what you need. Whether that's rest, support, or just a deep breath, you're not alone. To hear more stories, resources, and survivor-centered conversations, be sure to subscribe and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We want to hear from you, so please leave us a review and share your feedback. Your thoughts help us create episodes that resonate with listeners. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.